Has Hollywood started to shift back to dark and gritty storytelling again? Yes, they have, and I think that's obvious through some of the recent movies we've seen. Man of Steel, for example. And I think this is both a good and a bad thing. It's good because sometimes dark and gritty stories allow us to explore the dark and gritty aspects of life. That's something that's not done terribly often, and oftentimes when it is, it's not done very well. So if we can actually get some dark stories that say, yes, sometimes life does suck, sometimes we do have these dark facets of reality, sometimes we do have these horrible moments that have no easy answers or choices. For storytellers to be able to explore that and try to explain some of these darker elements of human nature, you can really come up with some interesting, sometimes uncomfortable or unsettling stories. And if it affects you that deeply, then awesome, they've done their job. The bad part of that is so many writers in Hollywood have no idea what they're doing, or they lose any degree of control over it, and the story loses all meaning. So you end up getting the same dark emo character who, oh, I'm dark and sad because I lost my girlfriend, wife, son, father, family, whatever, dog, John Wick notwithstanding. And at that point it just becomes about making money instead of telling a story, and that's when movies really start to suck for me. What is love? Chemicals. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. What do your scripts look like in an average episode? Well, I was actually an English major in college, and I did a lot of writing projects. So I really got used to the idea of breaking down a topic subject by subject, and rather subject topic by topic. One of the two. You know what I'm talking about. Which is why in my episodes I go from plot point to plot point, and from rant to rant, just trying to take apart piece by piece. Or take apart the movies piece by piece. Obviously this is not scripted because I'm rambling and going all over the place. This is actually a page from the latest script I have right now. It's broken down into paragraphs, looks somewhat professional, I guess you could say. I like to print these out because I can actually jot down notes and edit things as I go along. Hello. Hi, Dodger. One of our cats. I also have the script section, like the storylines and skits are actually broken down like storyboards in a movie script. So we just have characters' names, lines, and blocking. So it really simplifies a lot of that. How long does an episode take to make? I used to be able to get an episode out every 2 weeks, but that has since slowed down to about once every 3 or 4 weeks now. Part of that is just because I have a lot going on either behind the scenes on the show or just in real life. So I made a video at one point saying that I got promoted to supervisor where I work, and there's so much more admin work involved in this than I thought. But in some ways that's a good thing, just because now these scripts take extra time. I take extra caution in making sure that every word is right. There are all these new editing techniques that I'm learning about all the time, all these new things that I'm teaching myself and trying to do to make the show look even better episode by episode. I'm still learning how to use Adobe After Effects and trying to include special effects for the storyline sections and, you know, the occasional joke like that. It really becomes a challenge of how polished can I make each episode go. And I'd love to be able to put this all together in a week, but until this becomes my full-time job, I can't work that fast. So rather than put out subpar video after subpar video, I'd rather give you guys the best product possible, which is why my episodes take so long. What's your favorite and least favorite movie genre? My favorite movie genre, like books, largely depends on the mood I'm in, but if I had to pick one, I'd say fantasy. Now, fantasy is awesome because you can make up whatever rules you want. You can have your characters live wherever, do whatever, have whatever powers, use whatever items, whatever the hell you want, as long as they're properly explained and they're consistent. I'm sure we can name dozens of examples where that doesn't actually factor in some stories. But if a story is able to meet those criteria, you can come up with these fantastic stories, fantastic plots, where you can explore so many things with so many characters in so many places. I think that's a lot of the reason why I like Doctor Who so much, because if you want something to be a story in Doctor Who, absolutely no problem. There is a way to tell it. The TARDIS is amazing in that way. As far as least favorite kids movies, I guess, not even just all kids movies, it's just the really stupid, insipid ones that you put on to shut the kids up. Does that even count as a genre? Schlocky bullshit tween movies. I mean, the ones where it's all about what the characters are and not who the characters are. He's the hunky football captain, she's the head of the cheerleading squad, and they want to get together and have sex, or who gives a shit, and there are musical numbers along with it. I don't fucking get that shit. Fuck it, I'm calling them genres just because there are so many of them. What color is your toothbrush? It's purple. Will you ever consider reviewing First Blood, Die Hard, I Am Legend, Eaters of the Dead, The Hobbit, The Giver, Harry Potter? Yes, everything has a chance at getting reviewed, but like I explained before, if I don't think I can really make something out of it, then there's not much I can really do. Case in point, I Am Legend. I've seen the movie, I liked the movie. I have not read the book, but I've seen comparisons between the book and the movie, and my biggest problem really just comes down to the ending. The ending of the movie was just so slapped on with no thought of it, whereas the ending of the book had this incredible twist, this shock moment that completely changes your perspective of everything that had happened up to that point. And for the movie to not take that angle, that is fucking weak. That is cowardice, in my opinion. But really, at the moment, that's my only problem with it. And that's not much to really make an episode out of. So again, if I can't pull that much together, there's not much for me to really review. It'd be me, 20 minutes of me saying, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay. Oh, the ending! Fuck the ending! I don't know. I'd have to judge it on a case-by-case basis, but maybe I might get around to them. Hey look, Leia came to say hi. I'm actually going to cheat on this one. I couldn't really think of a movie that this really applied to. I did think of a TV series, the Sword of Truth saga. The books were okay. They had some interesting ideas. I liked the initial approach the books had as far as what the Sword of Truth itself was. But eventually it just became this easy out plot device where the main character inherited all the skills and abilities of every user of the sword before him. Easy win button, go! The series, though, and I haven't watched the whole thing, I've only seen a few bits and pieces, I thought it wasn't that bad. I mean, again, it was just decent, but the episodes I saw weren't too bad. They had some interesting elements. The acting was pretty good. What really impressed me, though, was the swordplay. The swordplay is actually surprisingly good. Now, as you guys know already, I actually have a history with swords myself. So when I watch a movie and I see two people fighting with swords, and they're either taking these massive arcs that never have a chance at hitting the other person, or they're just attacking the other person's sword. They're going for the sword, not for the person. It's not how sword fights go. For me to see The opposite in this show was very surprising. I actually tuned into the first episode in the middle of a sword fight. I was like, this is good! This is really good! Probably a very minor point to focus on, but hey, I was impressed. Do you have advice for people starting their own channel? Yes, I do. Substance over style. When I started the show, I bought a camera on Black Friday, had this expensive editing program that my father got for me for Christmas one year, and I didn't do anything with it for 6 months because I didn't have much of an idea of what I wanted to do with it. I mean, I had ideas, I had concepts and things I wanted to talk about, but I didn't have a real... Hi, Tris. Sorry. Third cat. I didn't have much to say, really. So much so that the first script actually took me a month to write and perfect. And looking back at it, it's still not as good as what I could do right now. So forget the expensive camera, forget the expensive, flashy editing program, forget all the nifty special effects, forget the high-grade title cards. Have something to say, and say it well. Oh, and write a script first. It does so much for you. Have you ever participated in NaNoWriMo? National Novel Writing Month. I like the idea. I've never participated in it. In part because I can never find the time, and that's not just a recent thing. I've never been able to sit down that long. That is not enough time. I mean, from inception to completion, that is not nearly enough time for me to write a book. I mean, if you can, good for you. You're a faster writer than I am. I actually used to write a fan fiction called Shattered Mind, and I'd post a chapter once a month, and these chapters are usually like 25, 30 pages. And that was the closest I've ever gotten to writing something for NaNoWriMo. To me, though, if I'm going to write an entire novel, I need time to think, time to plot, time to consider the characters, time to let them grow, time to occasionally be surprised by how the plot goes, because as any experienced writer will tell you, that happens. Is there a Linkara crossover planned in the future? God willing, yes. I would love to do a review with Linkara, preferably something comic-based, because I would really need the help for it. I'm not a comic guy, and I mean, I can bring the analysis, I can bring the criticism, I can even bring some of the humor. I can't dedicate that much time to the rich, very long history that so many comic series take up. And so I think the two of us would actually be able to make a very compelling review, very amusing review as well. Plus, I mean, Linkara he seems like such an awesome guy in real life. I'd love to have a chance to work with him. What books do you think should be turned into a movie or TV show? What's the ideal cast and crew for this project? I would love to see the Alcatraz Smedley series turn into preferably movies, just because I think that if they try to make them into TV series, they'd run out of ideas pretty quickly. If you stick to movies, though, you'd have a good... I don't even know how many books are in the series, but you'd have a number of them right there. I mean, characters are good, they're funny, the powers make no sense, but oh my god, do they work. You'd have a very unique setup there, and it would be a lot of fun to watch. As far as cast and crew, I honestly don't know. There are so many ways that could work, so many people they could bring in. Robert Zemeckis, I think, should be brought in to direct, because he has a surprisingly good touch when it comes to appealing to both a younger and an older audience, especially when you're dealing with, I guess you could say, more juvenile material. And probably Alan Silvestri to make the music, just because, goddamn, that guy knows what he's doing.